Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Airborne Survival and my name is Zach. We are continuing the series, building the 10 C's of survivability out into a full bug out bag that we're going to pack out into the 511 Rush 24. So that's the final goal, but we are many steps away, and right now we are just looking at our cutting device in our 10 C's of survivability and what can we add to that tool group to make this bag a little more useful. So obviously we still have our Becker BK9 Combat Bowie knife. That's just our base blade that we're going with. Talked about it in the previous video. In that same sheath, doesn't come with it, but the slot comes with it that you can add the Becker BK14. And so I've done that. You can make a spear out of it, finer tasks, carving, trapping, fine manipulation, just something to add right into there. And along that line, I have this opening here, and well, let's just cover the back quick too. I have my needle and some zip ties back there. So this is just all kind of into one kit. This particular pouch, I've kind of lost the elasticity on my band here, but what I'm thinking to go into the front here is just a nice Leatherman Wave. The good old-fashioned heavy hitter. And if anybody has been in the survival community for a while, you probably are aware of this tool. Nice heavy-duty pliers, wire cutters, strippers, needle nose. Got a few tools on the inside, screwdrivers and can openers, and probably the most important thing for a survival, having this owl reamer is really nice. And then also, you know, because you would take this out of here. This does fit right in that front pouch. Have it pop in there, but you'd maybe pouch this or put this on my belt. But if not, I could put this on my belt with the carrying case if you can decide to either put it in there with it or what. But you know, having some external knives. Here's the a small saw, but also has the file in there. You have your other knife. Nice full-size scissors, works with a variety of tasks. So anyway, this is kind of the first thing I thought of to add to this knife, just because it fit in the sheath that it came with. So let's just pack that out like that, and let's just say we got that going for now. First thing in the 10 C's of survivability is that knife. And so adding to that, another couple things that came to my mind is one, a way better saw. Here's the Bahco Laplander, and that's an option. These are just going to be some options, guys. I'm hoping you guys will give me your input and see what you think. I'm in central Minnesota. I'm in a colder environment. What might I need in my bug out bag? You know, we're coming into winter, and so those factors come into play. So the second thing is the bigger bow saw. This is that, what is it called? Aguila Boreal 21. Just that foldable, compact bow saw. Might not be the greatest for a survival situation as far as longevity, because I don't have any of these spare blades. Maybe I can get some spare blades and buy the pack for this. But as far as packing this thing down goes, it is just wonderful. Kind of just packs right back into itself like that, and you're just left with a small, might not fit into the 511 Rush 24 perfectly, but it will definitely fit some way or another. And talking about like what'll fit, this is something I would love to have, but kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. Kind of large for this size kit. But just the Condor Spetsnaz survival shovel. Nice hickory handle. It has a somewhat sharpened edge. I've used this to like clear the branches off of when you down a tree. I had my Bahco with me and I cut some trees down, and then I just hacked off the limbs with this and shoveling around your shelter to build like a trench to run water away. Useful in a lot of situations, but at other times I could see people maybe not agreeing with that. But this probably won't fit great inside the bag. Maybe if I slid it all the way from the bottom to the top on the inside behind something else, or otherwise I could just hang it on the outside. But just an option, guys. Let me know what you think. Those are some of the main tools I would add to the 10 C's of survivability as far as the blade option, the tools option, and then again, another just a backup blade. Having the what is this? The Cans Bowl Mora stainless steel. Just something small, lightweight, way easier to manipulate as far as building shelter, cutting cordage and stuff like that. Not needing that big sword of that Becker. And along those lines too, having a neck knife. This is the Ontario Rat 3. Haven't really beat this one up as much, but owned it for quite a while. Again, I think this is that 1095 coated. But comes with the nice sheath. And this is part of why, you know, and it's a super heavy duty knife. Full tang, all steel, you know, micarta handle's not going to break on you. And then it comes with that nice sheath with, you know, the neck knife option. I got the paracord tied on there, and then so there's a great option too. And then just kind of an honorable mention for the 10 C's is to maybe just throw in a decent Swiss Army knife. I think this is either like the Field Master or something like that. Pretty full featured, not the biggest one, but you know, to the point where it's ridiculous. But you know, I do like it. It has that small saw that is very useful for like maybe 1 or 1.5 inch branches, and just something to have in your pocket to back up your other tools as far as knives and awls and screwdrivers and scissors and plier, you know, and not pliers, but screwdrivers and scissors and things like that. So just and with the plus scales, you got the needle in there. Got the needle down in there to maybe dig out a splinter. You got your pen and your toothpick and your tweezers. So those are just some options for the 10 C's of survivability. So let's look at our cordage options after this. Okay, here we are with our cordage. That was our option. Just some Peregrine 550 paracord, 100 feet. As far as what we can add to that is maybe the spool tool. Be able to manage your cordage better. Cut it easily. I didn't do it yet, but you can clip a mini bic right there and have that just to burn up your frayed ends. As far as cordage, adding some options, we got some tarred bank line. This is just 125 feet-ish of number 36 tarred bank line, 121 feet. So just throwing some more cordage options in there. And then also I got a roll of micro cord, micro paracord, just 125 feet. 100-pound, different options. Definitely for, you know, small traps. Maybe you're making like a Paiute deadfall. You don't need some big heavy duty 550 cord. You don't even need tarred bank line. You know, this would be perfect for something like that. And then of course, just plain old add more cordage. I think that's kind of an obvious for a bug out bag. Cordage, reusable, goes a long way. Hard to fabricate in the wood. So just having some extra cordage on you is great. So let's look into our next category. Okay, here we are with our combustion device. We just had the 1/2 inch by 6 inch ferro rod, brand spanking new, hasn't even been scraped off the coating yet. We just got a little bit of paracord taped to the end there with some orange electrical tape to make that easier to find if you drop it. First thing that came to my mind to add to the fire kit would be some tinder, and here we just have the mini Infernos by the Pathfinder School. You know what those little pucks are. I mean, each one of these you could probably start, depending on how good you are. I mean, you could start a dozen fires with that thing if you just took a little chip out of it and put it into your bird's nest and had a good base going already. But then the next thing too is just that big pack of Yuko storm matches. This one I just got. It's just a brand new 25 storm matches, extra strikers in a waterproof container with a little cotton under there to protect the heads. No big deal, but you know, just that there really adds out to your fire kit. But I mean, like I said in some of my other videos, if you don't have a Bic lighter in your fire kit, you're just not trying to survive. And that has that Exotac protector on there. Keep it waterproof, but more, I like it because it keeps it from pressing it. And then one last thing to add to the fire kit is just this 36-hour survival candle. Got 3 wicks in there, so you light one wick is 12 hours. If you lit each wick separately, it's 12 hours a piece. If you had them all going, which is probably what I would do in the winter in Minnesota. It's a 12-hour candle with 3 wicks going at once, but that would definitely make a big difference in a survival situation in the winter in Minnesota, bugging out, setting up that shelter and having maybe some warm bodies in there with you, and also a candle burning, at least at first, to just warm you up and get some morale built up and get some firewood and get some more things going. But that could be just your basic getting you started. So as we build out this kit and add up to our full survival kit, you know, these are just some of the options. We have some more options, and we'll whittle them down as we go in future videos and find that smaller 511 Rush 24 size survival kit. Because yes, you can build a way larger survival kit, but I'm getting older. I'm 53. I can walk 10 miles, but you know, I want to be able to maintain my physical abilities as I'm out there, and I don't want this kit to be so huge that I just can't even carry it around. So let's go on to our next category. So here we are with our cover element of the 10 C's of survivability, and we have the Arc'teryx outdoor gear. I think this is, I said this was the 12 by 12. It's something like that. It's a big tarp. It is the full size, you know, green with the reflective inside. It's kind of the family edition of the bug out tarp. It's on the big end to fit in the 511, but in my opinion, with winter coming up, this is probably one of my better options. And it's just going to depend on what I can fit all in that 511 Rush 24 bag. But for now, we're sticking with this. And I was thinking, you know, what is the one thing I would add to this cover element? Because, you know, that's just one piece of cover. You don't have anything to keep you warm in the winter. So I went with the Pendleton wool blanket. And this rubber straps are just some cheap straps I found on like a picnic blanket at a Goodwill, and it just worked great for this Pendleton. You know, this is one of those heavy duty wool blankets I bought on their website. It was kind of a discontinued or a second model, so I did get a decent price on it, but even though it was still like $175, $200, but it normally retailed for like $350. But so between that big tarp and that Pendleton, you know, that's getting me in the right direction of keeping the family warm, huddled up under that tarp. And when I talk about that tarp being 12-12, you know, that don't mean you need to set it up 12-12. You know, you could have 4 feet of it hanging off the side covered in leaves. But it does give you that option then. You know, you could lean to it like 8 feet of it, and then 4 feet of it, having it go over like a roof. Having your fireplace in there with your backstop built, and having your Pendleton blanket snuggled up with the wife and baby. That could get you, miles in the right direction. So those are the first 2 things that came to mind. But again, are they going to fit in that bag, and what can we do to make that fit? We could strap this on the bottom of the bag. There's some ability to do something like that, and that might be one of the options. But just as another some cover elements to add, just another grabber space blanket, just a smaller one, maybe to lay on the ground underneath that, and then even a smaller, more compact, just a SOL Sport utility blanket. You know, just something, again, maybe wrap this around yourself and the blanket, or have this on the ground and this over you with this. But just some cover options. That's where we're at right now. We're just kicking off these top 5 C's, and what can we do to build out this 10 C's of survivability bug out bag? So let's get into the next category. Okay, guys, here we are with our container option. We had that 40-ounce clean canteen, single wall stainless steel, near a river. Got our shelter set up. Our fire's burning. We're staying warm, so we got to stay hydrated. This was our first option, and to just obviously right off the bat to add to something like that would be the cup. This is the Pathfinder, the larger cup. That, you know, nesting cup goes right in there, and then of course with that you have the grill. I have used it. It gets the job done. You can definitely boil water with this thing. You know, feeding sticks in there creates a way greater fire than you think when it's contained inside of something like this. You know, when you build a little fire without the container, it doesn't seem like it's doing much. But in here, it really concentrates that fire and helps you boil that water. And where I'm at, the Minnesota River is one of the dirtiest rivers in the state. It's one of the dirtiest rivers in the country, so it's debatable if we're gonna be able to drink out of that river consistently. Of course, I got the lid with that. You know, maybe just cooking some food like that, and then I got my bail hook here somewhere. I didn't dig that out right now, but probably throw that bail hook in there with the kit. I do have my bag half kind of put together, and it has the container, the case for this on the side, and so this stuff will all pack down into there, and we'll just have that packed right into the case on the bug out bag. Now, do I have room to put something like a Pilatus, multi-bag water filter? Because this would probably be invaluable in keeping the family hydrated. Maybe not the greatest option in the winter, but it's something we can look at. I probably won't throw it in the kit right now, but just know that it's there. We also have the Sawyer Squeeze, the Sawyer Mini, the Life Straw, all those kind of things. So, but as far as just adding to the container option, we have that. It's just to add another container. I just have another stainless steel canteen. This is just a cheaper model, but it's a decent single wall stainless steel, and it comes with its own pouch that I use pretty regularly. Actually, I just strap this through my belt and carry this when I'm out on a hike. And then we also have another cup in there. So how does that work? Get that slid up there, and you have another option to boil some water, cook some food, gather berries, gather fire tinder, whatever you might need a small container like that for. So that's about it for now for the container. Let's check out the next category. Oh, PS on those container options, guys. Let's add in the option to have some of these, just like these GSI stainless steel pots. Just especially because I'm more family oriented now as far as bugging out. Can I keep the family alive? Here'd be a smaller pot for maybe a solo guy that was moving out alone. But for me, maybe more like a full-size family kit. You're doing some fishing. Plenty of game around here as far as squirrels and rabbits, and fishing out of the river. Not the best option, but moving around. And this fits a couple bowls and cups and spoons and sporks in there. And so that's just another option. Again, though, like what all can we fit in that bag, because this is getting a little crazy, but these are just some more options. So now let's check out that next category. Okay, guys, we're just on that lighting option. Not going to go into this one too much. We got the Husky little L-shaped flashlight. Has a couple options. It works great. It's rechargeable, which is one of the reasons I really like this. You got the rechargeable light. It comes with its extra battery pack that I just have 3 AAAs in there to help to extend the life of that flashlight. It's rechargeable there with the C rechargeable battery in there. And with that, this might show up in another category, but I just have this fat brick. I think this is like a 20,000 milliamp, something like that. It's a pretty heavy hitter. I've taken this out on multi-day hiking excursions and recharged my phone, a few times, and still, yeah, this is 20,000. Did not burn that up. But to add to that lighting kit, this is just the obvious that everybody's going to say is the headlamp. This is a Black Diamond Spot, and then just with a pack of AA batteries. So there's definitely a lot more options we have there, but again, we're working with the size restriction of the bag, and this is what we got right now: a decent little flashlight and a headlamp. Let's look at the next category. Okay, guys, we're on our compass option. Again, it's one of those tools that if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to do you any good in a survival situation. But if you know your area and you have some maps and some knowledge on how to use a compass, it can come in handy. I'm not going to say this is the most important thing in a survival situation, but it could be a great tool to get you rescued if you get lost, or you're trying to navigate somewhere and your electronics go out. But what can we do to upgrade our compass kit? So let's just throw that out of the way for now and pull out more of a more of my signal navigation kit. This is the kit I bring with me hiking, and I've had this packed in this bag for probably 9 years going on, and it's just kind of the same bag I always have. So let's get into the contents of this kit real quick. Just dump it all out. Okay, this was a Suunto compass. We can keep that one, or we can just exchange it for the Silva map compass. Again, it's pretty similar. Just a map compass. Got your sighting mirror on there. Got the bezel ring. It does point north. I've used them both. They both point north very well. Maybe even just having them both as one's a backup. Got my waterproof Right in the Rain paper with a pencil and a couple pens. Got a Sharpie. Got like a Milwaukee, more of a fine tip pen. Just some marking options for map reading and navigating and taking notes. Got the Jetstream signal whistle. Really love this whistle. It's always been in that bag. Just ear-piercing loud, orange, so you can find it if you drop it. And you know, it's P-less, so it's gonna work good in the cold. And just something that can help you out of a sticky situation. If you notice my signal navigation, I got a lot of orange stuff in here. Just don't want to, because it's hidden in the bag if I'm trying to be secluded. But if I'm not, I want to be able to find it if I drop it, low light conditions or whatever it may be. Got the UST bandana in there, all the different survival instructions on there. Just keeping them all together. Nice full-size signal mirror in there. Talked about that in other videos. Just getting that sunny day and signaling an aircraft. It's unlikely you're going to use a signal mirror in a survival situation, but you might be signaling other survivalists that you're setting timing together. Hey, you go up on that hill, I'll signal you, and then we're going to head this way, do this, whatever. So just a nice signal mirror in there with it. A lot of people have different needs. For me, I wear glasses. I don't really need them at distance, but very close up, like reading maps, I do. So I have just that nice magnification lens. And same thing, I've had this thing in here for 10 years. I never can even think of where all this stuff is because I always keep it in this bag and leave it with my hiking gear. These particular maps are for where I go hiking. And to be honest with you, where I go hiking is an amazing bug out location. I don't know how many people have thought of that, but it's a colder environment, but again, rich with game, fishing, water streams, but again, dealing with the winter in Minnesota is always going to be a problem for anybody. But, you know, so have your maps, your compasses, your signaling and navigation equipment together, and, you know, more of a local map. Get yourself a nice full-size, this is just a Coleman's bag, but there's other ones. I got a bag in here for some licenses that we use when we go up north in the boundary waters, and I keep that in there. And you can put your local map in there. Look it up. It is not a big deal to buy a map of your local area in any kind of format you want. So that's just an upgrade to that compass kit. I think that's pretty decent, guys. Let's go on to the next category. Okay, we're on to our cotton element of our 10 Cs of survivability, and, you know, I think this is just that great schmog option. Big, giant schmog, covers the whole table. Great piece of cloth and kit, lightweight. Could have it in the bag, and it's great as a scarf. You could have it around your neck. I don't know what really to add to this, guys. Just our cotton option, but I did think to add some flagging tape, maybe for your group to find their way in and out of an area. Maybe if it's not just a survival situation and not just a bug out situation, but you've gathered a group and you're all working together, and this could be a way to flag off an area or something like that. You may be waiting for rescue. It might not be that you're always trying to hide, you know, so being found may be one of those options. And to add to the cotton to go along with that signal and navigation kit, you know, this is kind of with that. And along with that then is just like this isn't a VF17 signal panel, but it's a smaller, similar panel to that. It's a military issue. I think this is more of an aerial liaison marker. Panel marker, aerial liaison. So it's got some snaps on it. Can button around. Could like snap it around a tree or something. But just something easy again to be seen by rescuers or possibly to mark an area. This is down this way is the bathroom or whatever. And we're just wrapping this video up, so I'm just going to throw this in together because I don't have much to add to my duct tape option, and it's just because I don't really have all my gear out and ready right now. A full roll of duct tape could be an option, you know, the 2-inch wide instead of the 1-inch wide. You could add a repair kit, which I may do in a future video as we complete this bug out bag. And of course, you've seen that needle on the back of that knife, so those things are all going to kind of tie together. But I probably will find some kind of like a Best Glide ASE survival and repair kit, something like, I have one of those kits laying around, so something like that. So that's going to wrap up the video for now, guys. Please let me know what you take out, what you add. Thinking about the size of the bag in mind. I know that Arc'teryx tarp and that blanket are huge, but I think there's going to be room to pack all this stuff in there to either get it, not all those knife options, and maybe not all the, but most of this gear, and having enough options. You know, depending on if I get that MSR pot in there or that 40-ounce canteen, that'll be hanging on the outside. I forgot to mention the jet boil option, to possibly, especially for that first 3-4 days, to have a jet boil on you with a large can of fuel to just be able to heat up water, heat up food, heat up your shelter in a very easy way, even though it's not a long-lasting, sustainable way. You know, people talk about a 72-hour bug out bag. Well, that thing will last you 72 hours. In fact, I've went on so many 72-hour bug outs. You know, people do like a trial run. That's called going camping for me. You know, you put your backpack on and you go hiking for 3-4 days. And talking about that, though, we're going to add some food. We're going to add some other things, you know, maybe, you know, some bars and dehydrated meals and something like that to the bag. But again, those are not long-term sustainable items. You know, you're going to have to get out there and be hunting and trapping and fishing and gathering food, and that's going to be one of your major challenges. So being a little overweight like I am might be a plus in a survival situation, but for now we're still going to try to get down there and get skinny. Guys, thank you so much for visiting Airborne Outdoors. My name is Zach, and I will catch you guys in the next video.